Good morning, Paterson. So, I start on a very somber note. Even though we've been blessed with beautiful weather, we wish our Congressman Bill Pascrell was here today. In fact, when we had originally planned with Superintendent Darren, Boch, Gianfranco Archimede, and the Congressman's office, we were working around his schedule. Because this is a part of his enduring legacy in the city of Paterson. And for those that don't know, this would not have been a national park without the late and lamented Congressman Bill Pascrell. He actually worked in concert with another legendary Patersonian, the late and lamented Senator Frank R. Lautenberg. But today I want to talk about Congressman Bill Pascrell, because as you know, he was a tireless fighter, a relentless fighter, and he didn't stop until he achieved his objective. And one of his goals, stated goals, was not only to make this a national park, but to make this a national destination. To turn the Great Falls, or should I say transform the Great Falls, into a very desirable attraction. Our Niagara Falls. So that, Darren, if you're saying the National Park Service says an estimated 300,000 people come and see this beautiful sight to behold, that 1 million people would come as a result of the work that's being done here today. So behind us is a part of that enduring legacy. It couldn't have happened without Congressman Pascrell waging war in Washington to make sure we get federal funding. And as a testament to his legacy, we're going to continue to beautify the area at the falls. As a matter of fact, work will start across the street from Overlook Park at 39 McBride Avenue, so that we can have a food hall and a rooftop restaurant to fulfill Congressman's desire to make this a destination, a national destination. The old Libby site has been sold as well. That'd be a restaurant or a cafe-style restaurant. And other improvements will be made to complement what has been done at Hinchliffe Stadium, the affordable housing for the senior citizens, the daycare for our children, the new museum to celebrate the civil rights movement and the role that Paterson played. And so here's to you, Congressman Bill Pascrell, because we wouldn't have been here without you. We are profoundly, or should I say eternally, grateful for the fact that you represented us and that you got us the funding so that we could be here today to celebrate yet another major milestone for the Great Falls National Park. At this time, I want to call forward a gentleman that I consider a partner in progress, because as he stated many times before, this is a partnership park. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for our hometown hero, the Superintendent of the Great Falls National Park, Darren Boch.
Thank you, Mayor. Very much appreciated, and I share your thoughts about Congressman Pascrell today. I'm a native of Paterson. My grandparents who used to work and labor in mills in this city. My grandfather, I remember him taking me to these falls when I was a little boy. And I used to tell Congressman Pascrell, the only reason I'm here wearing this uniform is because of the work, the long, hard work he did advocating and fighting for the establishment of National Park here in the city of my birth. And I always loved reminding him of that fact. And I know right now, if he were here, he'd start out by saying, "This is our Yellowstone." That's the way he liked to call it. He put this place, rightfully so, right up there with the other national parks in this world-renowned system of Yosemite and Yellowstone and Acadia and the Paterson Great Falls, and that was because of the work of Congressman Bill Pascrell. So it is, yeah. I will miss him. It's been said the best partnerships aren't dependent on a common goal, but a shared desire for equality and for passion. And this Quarry Lawn project is a case study in a best partnership project. The idea for this park was actually first laid out in a state master plan long before this was a national park back in 2008. And then that idea was further described in the National Park General Management Plan in 2015. And it was actually that year that Congress passed a bill called the Centennial Challenge in anticipation of the National Park Service 100th anniversary in 2016, passed legislation that allowed funding $1.8 million to be dedicated to this new park. And that created some of the seed money. And it was from there that the desire and the passion began to take root, much of it with John Franco, Archimedes, and myself in my office. And we began to envision this project. We had the master plan, the park plan, and that's where the desire and the passion came in, and more money came in, and our imagination just took this place, and then obviously with the benefit of the architects, engineers, and Flanagan Construction, this beautiful new space took shape. I think it's one of the most intriguing parks anywhere, in any place. I hesitate to use the word unique, but it is a unique space. It's just a fabulous place. This site was once a mountain, Mount Morris. You see the remains of that mountain right there. Later it became a quarry. And they quarried out this rock, hence the name Quarry Lawn. And then after that, it was the epicenter of Paterson's industrial might. About 30 mill buildings were along either side of this central passageway, crossing a full 7 acres through this site. And then in the late 70s, early 80s of the last century, a series of fires closed this place, and it's been dormant ever since. And now we are here, decades later, bringing this place to life, not for a factory, not for a quarry, but for a park that I hope to welcome as soon as possible.
Right.
Nearly 300,000 visitors to this national park are going to come and experience this place. We wish we could be opening this park to the general public today, but there's circumstances beyond our control and actually beyond the site. Circumstances out beyond the fence there around that smokestack that's preventing us from fully opening this park to the general public today. And EPA is going to be conducting a removal action on that site starting next Monday, and we fully support their efforts to protect public health. We are fully cooperating with the agency as they undertake environmental remediation, and to include providing them a staging area in the national park for the duration so they can easily get to the site and do their action. The national park will remain open to visitors during the period of this removal, and we hope that the EPA will move as safely and expeditiously as possible to remove those contaminants off-site so that all of us can fully enjoy this space. Mayor, thank you for the time, and thank you for another partnership project win, because that's exactly what this is.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Let it be noted, our superintendent's a Yankee fan, so he knows all about winning. I can't believe I just said that. That's a major concession on my part. It's 27 world championships, but they started in 1865, so it's over 100 years. But nevertheless, a win was the amphitheater, which the congressman was a champion for as well. And a win is when we open up. And just to elaborate, or should I say dovetail on what our superintendent says, we're erring on the side of caution, right? They have identified a potential health hazard. And thanks to my legal department, led by our corporation counsel, Eamon Abushi, we believe it's in the best interest of everyone just to make sure that we remove the tanks from the smokestack so that we can open without any concerns and potentially putting anyone in peril. I also want to acknowledge from Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter's office, Marilyn Frierson. Thank you for joining us. Give her a round of applause, please. So at this time, I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to be a painful time up here at the microphone, but I do want to call up a friend from the 9th Congressional District Director, Ian Godfrey, representing Congressman Bill Pascrell.
A really strange feeling caught me earlier, just as we were preparing for this event. You know, when you work for the congressman, you fall into a certain groove. You have a habit of certain orders of operations. And while I was watching the falls, I kept peeking over my shoulder, looking at every car coming into the parking lot thinking that he would be in one of those cars ready for me to advance him. That I would run to the car, offer him his memo. Sir, you're 10 minutes late. Everybody's waiting for you. You know, everybody's at the podium, and, you know, hearing him kind of like, you know, just coming up. And it just was such an overwhelming feeling earlier today. I really missed the guy. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here to celebrate the progress of the Quarry Lawn Park. It is bittersweet to be here today without our biggest champion of the Great Falls, Congressman Bill Pascrell. Many years ago, Congressman Pascrell had a vision for the crown jewel of our city. He knew that there was nothing else like it anywhere in America, and that with adequate federal resources and funding, it could be the anchor of Paterson's rebirth and revitalization. 15 years ago, the Congressman secured the designation of the Great Falls as a National Historical Park. It was the culmination of decades of his work with federal, state, and local partners. This laid the groundwork for a flurry of new rehabilitation and expansion projects like the one we are celebrating here today. Congressman Pascrell worked tirelessly to expand the boundaries of the park to include Hinchliffe Stadium. He secured $2 million in federal funding for a new pedestrian footbridge across the river and the revitalization of the historic Ivanhoe Wheelhouse. Last year, the Congressman won $3 million in federal dollars to help build a beautiful new visitor center. And in 2016, Congressman Pascrell secured $1.8 million that was instrumental in the completion of the Quarry Lawn Park project we are here to see. Congressman Pascrell loved the Great Falls. He poured his time and energy into its restoration. And that is why the entire New Jersey delegation seeks to rightfully name components of the Great Falls National Park after its staunchest supporter. We all hope the EPA can finish their work soon so the public can come into Quarry Lawn Park and enjoy the exemplary vision of Congressman Pascrell. Thank you all. God bless Paterson, and God bless America.
Thank you, Ian. Let's have another round of applause for Ian and Congressman Pascrell. I also want to acknowledge former mayor, also worked with Congressman Pascrell very closely for many years outside of his involvement with the office. A friend of the city of Paterson, James Anzaldi. Thank you, Mayor Anzaldi, for joining us as well. You know, Ian, I started reminiscing a little bit too, and I thought about the last time I saw the Congressman, which was in June of this year, and it was upstairs at Overlook when he was announcing that he was securing even more money for our park and the pedestrian bridge. And I believe it's appropriate that we do name the bridge in memory of Congressman Bill Pascrell. And so we know that Congressman Pascrell has a friend in Congressman Pallone. And we thank J.L. Davis for joining us today. So please put your hands together from Congressman Pallone's office, J.L. Davis. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everyone. I'm J.L. Davis, Outreach Director for Congressman Frank Pallone. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, but he sends his best wishes for the ceremony today. As many of you know, Congressman Pallone represents New Jersey's 6th District, which is parts of Monmouth and Middlesex County, and he had the privilege of serving with Congressman Pascrell for nearly 30 years. So I'm really honored to be here today, and I just want to share a brief message from Congressman Pallone. Today, as Paterson reveals the beautiful new Quarry Lawn, we are reminded of Bill Pascrell's leadership and dedication that made this possible. Paterson's Great Falls holds a special place in our nation's history, and it was Bill who fought tirelessly to have it recognized as a historical national park in 2009. He understood the importance of preserving this place, not only for its beauty, but also for its role in America's Industrial Revolution. This week, I introduced legislation to rename 2 iconic landmarks at the park, the scenic Overlook Trail Bridge and Overlook Park in Bill Pascrell's name. These places will serve as lasting tributes to his lifelong commitment to Paterson and its rich history. The legislation has the bipartisan, bicameral support of everyone in the New Jersey delegation. Thank you for being here today to celebrate this milestone and honor a man who dedicated his life to this city. Thank you all.
Thank you, JL. I also want to acknowledge another friend of Congressman Bill Pascrell. It's a long-standing relationship with him, and he's the president of our Friends of the Paterson Parks Foundation, Mr. Fred Artis. Thank you, Fred, for joining us. He's got a Seton Hall hat on. I think the Congress would have preferred Fordham, of course, right, Eamon? But okay. I prefer Seton Hall. I want to thank Deputy Mayor Maria del Pilar Rivas for joining us. My Chief of Staff, who's worked hard on this as well, Habib Taylor, and also Director of Strategic Initiatives, Deborah Bravo. This time I want to call forward County Commissioner Orlando Cruz to share a few words with us. Please let's have a round of applause for the Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all. Good morning still. It's still morning here. Not only as a Passaic County Commissioner, where my colleagues and I echo the sentiments of everyone and the hard work that was put in to getting this project going and it being another staple in Passaic County for visitors to come in. But selfishly, Mayor, as the president of the Chamber of Commerce, I'm proud to be here, as this project represents more than just a new space of recreation, but it's also a testament to Paterson's vibrant history and the dedication to its growth and revitalization. By enhancing our national landmarks, we not only boost tourism, but we also create opportunities for our local businesses to thrive. This is a win for both our community and our economy. So a big thank you to all who have made this possible, and I look forward to seeing that the continuous positive impact that this project has on our community at large. Thank you.
Also want to acknowledge from Hinchliff Stadium, Frank Filippelli Jr. Thank you for joining us, Frank. Roger Greer, Barber Park. Clinton Street's next. Jeanette Thompson. So I would like to not only call forward our next speaker, but I want to recognize him for his efforts. We talked about the restoration of Hinchliff Stadium. Well, this man predates a lot of us as far as what he did to preserve Hinchliff Stadium so that we could celebrate the rebirth last May in 2023. He's working on Vista Park, which is the highest point in Paterson, and it provides visitors, viewers with a panoramic view of not only the city of Paterson, but New York City as well. He's also been laboring in the vineyard so that we can finally reopen safely for the public the Great Falls, or should I say the Congressman Bill Pascrell pedestrian bridge. So we're grateful for the work that he's done. He's a tough customer, let's be honest here, right? Because he digs in his preservation heels, and he knows that we have to honor our history. And so I want to tell John Franco in front of everybody, we really, really appreciate all of your efforts, even though we may not always agree with the method, but it's the outcome that matters more than anything else. So I guess the ends justify the means. A gentleman who no one gets his name right. They think his name is John Franco. His name is Gianfranco Archimede. Our next speaker, historic preservation. Please, Gianfranco Archimede. And he's got the buttons to prove.
Thank you, Mayor Sayegh, and thanks to everyone who's joining us today, county commissioners, elected officials, representatives. It's wonderful to be here with you on this day, and it's my honor to be serving the citizens of the city of Paterson for the past 20 years, as the mayor mentioned, especially in the context of this wonderful gift that I personally was given to come to work in Paterson and be working on the evolution and development of a new national park, the 397th in the system. So it's been a great honor to work here, and it's a great honor to be standing in the shadow and legacy of our great grandfathers and grandmothers, Patersonians, New Jerseyans, who have believed in this place and its national legacy that it has to offer our future generations. And that really is the mission of our national park system. Darren is here behind me, but I would first like to also thank Darren for his ongoing passionate partnership. Without partnerships from the National Park Service and the many other partners that I'd like to acknowledge today, we wouldn't be standing here as well. I also wanted to make note that Ian's comments were right on target with mine this morning. I was reflecting on that same moment that you mentioned, Ian, earlier, where so many times in the past I was up on the upper deck, as we call it here, waiting for an event to start and seeing the congressman's car pull in and knowing that the show would get started at that point, and watching the staffers kind of run over, just the scene that you described. And that was playing in my head as well when I was walking down for the event today. So I also, it's been said previously, but I want to add my own condolences to his family, and he really will be missed around here. We're very, very grateful for his leadership and for all that he has contributed over a long career, not just recently, but his entire career is absolutely fantastic and notorious in all ways. So with that said, I thought that it would be very important to say a few words about the project and to acknowledge the many, many people that were involved in kind of rolling out and helping us to achieve what you see here before you today. So first I'd like to take some notes about our partners, our other partners, aside from the National Park Service, who are here with us in the community, but others who also have worked very hard over a long period to continue to support the development of our national park on both federal and state, federal and local lands. I want to remind and mention that yes, we are within the national park, but we are on city property. The border between federal property and city property is really kind of right in front of where I'm speaking, just a few steps away. But the experience of the national park is going to be seamless. There's sort of a plan, as Darren mentioned earlier, a master plan about how we are rolling out these smaller areas, chunks, pieces at a time. And we are already working on the next area in the Great Falls National Historical Park that will be contiguous with the Quarry lawn, which is the area you see directly behind us. So EPA will be doing its work, and we are already starting to work on what happens like immediately thereafter to reclaim those lands. So the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection has a variety of programs that are very important to our ability to fund these kinds of projects and then keep them in perpetuity for public visitation and public use as recreation and open space. So our Green Acres program has been a great champion for the state park, for the national park endeavors. And I'd like to thank Martha Sapp, the director. I'd like to thank also our coordinator here locally, Amy Samosky, for their continuous support of our projects. Also, the DEP provides another very important program that we take advantage of and must comply with under state law, which is the reclamation of our environmental contaminants, because this is a brownfield area. It was a heavily used industrial area for over 150 years. Most of us know that, and that leaves behind contaminants. So the the hazardous discharge site remediation fund is handled through the Office of Brownfields at the DEP, also provided a substantial amount of funding to take care of our remedial action part of our program. The county commissioners and to the County of Passaic, who have always been strong partners, also have an open space fund, and there is some funding from County Open Space Fund also invested in this park. So we thank Passaic County for their ongoing partnership. We also have to thank the citizens of the city of Paterson. There's been millions of dollars of bonded funding that the City Council made available for this project to also take place. There is a significant investment of public funding, local funding on our lands to make this project possible. So we want to thank the city council members and our citizens for those bonded funds. So the Quarry lawn, as Darren mentioned, was a mountain that was quarried out and was responsible for the early development of our city. The brownstone layer of the formation here was used in many of our brownstone buildings, including the Colt Gun Mill and buildings that are actually on this site. And also the basalt rock that's above the brownstone formation was crushed on site and distributed throughout the city for road building and for infrastructure development. So this site is intimately involved in the very early and very beginnings of the city of Paterson and is very significant for that reason. The entire area around the falls has been undergoing quarrying for many years that finished only in the beginning of the 20th century. So this is a story that we're very happy to be able to tell and interpret here in this space. Hence the name, to remind everyone, the quarry, and the lawn, of course, which is right to my left. So the funding makes it possible for us to engage the professional services that we need to comply with state, federal, local laws to make the place safe environmentally for people to be here, to comply with cultural resource clearances, and to be able to learn more about places and tell the stories that are important, and to preserve the resources that are valuable to help us interpret for generations to come and stabilize them. So there is a significant amount of archaeology that was invested in here. There was also historic features. You can see behind me there are these brownstone kind of ruin walls that have also been stabilized with the funding. And there's of course brownfield funding that I mentioned, but also the development of the spaces with amenities and the walking surfaces, which are all ADA compliant. When you came into the park, you also noticed a couple of parking spaces that are purposely down at this level to allow for ADA compliance. So this was all kind of planned into the park. Our main engineering firm that was contracted to do so was Engineering and Land Planning, and they couldn't be with us here today, but I'd like to give a shout out to Ed Confair and Megan Schmidt for their work on leading our comprehensive team of professionals to handle the very complex landscape that we were starting with. Within the team, there was also Silman Engineering, and there was Andrew Pogon, landscape architects, and Quinn Evans, historic preservation architects, and also Tillman lighting design also helped. The park, you can see, has lighting, and we also have some irrigation in the park as well. So I want to give a shout out to all of those firms and thank them for the hard work they did in this complex project to bring it all together so that we could have a contract for construction and get into building. So I'd like to ask our contractors who are here representing Flanagan Construction Company to please come up and be recognized. Hey, Bob. Christine. So here standing with us we have Bob Sr. Flanagan, Bob Jr. Flanagan, and Christine Flanagan. And we'd like to say a great big thank you to helping us achieve this very complicated project. It's been absolutely terrific working with you all. And there really was a lot to be accomplished once we got into the project. And there were a lot of factors that came and went and that we had to solve. And without your partnership and your ongoing attention to assist us achieve this goal, this would not have been possible. So thank you very much for your great work here today. Thank you very much.
And also, there was a butterfly that came across there.
Thank you very much. So again, thanks for joining us, and I want to thank the mayor and the city council for their continued passion for this place, to continue to develop our lands in such a way that is compatible with this large vision of our ancestors, of the late Bill Pascrell, and we are really, really raring to go on our next project. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And just in the real time, this is happening. As far as Vista Park is concerned, this Tuesday's agenda, the City Council will vote to go out to bid, and then we're hoping to have an award of a contract by the end of this year so that work could start next year, and then next year we're celebrating the new and improved Vista Park.
Yes.
We also, yeah, you can applaud, it's fine. You Mets fans, you're upset that I gave the Yankees a little credit, even though the Yankees didn't beat the Mets this year at all. All right, anyway. And then also in real time, the Great Falls Pedestrian Bridge, that item is on the agenda for this Tuesday for the council to approve, so we can get an award, or the bid goes out and award the contract by the end of the year. So by next year, we're celebrating the opening of the Congressman Bill Pascrell pedestrian bridge here at the Great Falls. More news as far as beautification of our national treasure is concerned and Congressman Pascrell's enduring legacy. On Monday, Passaic Valley Water Commission, my office, our superintendent, John Franco's of course invited as well. We're going to announce that 2 buildings in Mary Ellen Kramer Park that were in disrepair, now they've been renovated, and we're welcoming everyone for that ribbon cutting so that we can celebrate yet another milestone for the Great Falls National Park. In closing, I want to go back to July 10th, 1778. None of us were there. And the congressman wasn't there either. Don't try to make an older. But Alexander Hamilton was here. And it was during the Revolutionary War, and he was having lunch with then General George Washington. He was his aide-de-camp, right? That's what John Franco told me. And Lin-Manuel Miranda. Our friend from France, the Marquis de Lafayette, was here. They were having cow tongue and grog, some type of libation. And Hamilton saw the falls, and he saw the future. It's like Congressman Bill Pascrell, 2 visionaries. They saw the fall, and they saw the future. This is the future of the falls. And it couldn't have happened without Alexander Hamilton, and it couldn't have happened without Congressman Bill Pascrell. So that's why we're eternally grateful to our founder, Alexander Hamilton, and our fighter, Congressman Bill Pascrell. So at this time, I want to call forward for closing remarks my partner, Superintendent Darren Boch.
Thank you, Mayor.
Partner in progress.
Thank you. Talking about partners, I'd be remiss. The Hamilton Partnership for Paterson is the park's official friends group, and the new executive director, Stephanie Cullens. Thank you for being here today. I also want to thank, and they're pretty easy to spot because they stick out like the proverbial sore thumbs that they are. If you see the gray and green here, my staff is a small staff that serves about 300,000 visitors a year. And long after we conclude these events, Mayor, they're going to be serving visitors, maintaining assets, providing services each and every day without a camera in front of them to record the event. So, and this is going to be one of those parks. It's a partnership park, and I look forward with DPW and the city of Paterson. But I just want to thank my hardworking staff in maintenance and interpretation education, because I know day in, day out, 365, you guys are here ensuring that this experience in this national park is worthy of the arrowhead that sits on our shoulder and this Stetson that sits on our head. And I appreciate each and every one of you people. And I just wanted to say that. With that, Mayor?
Yes. What do you want to do?
Would it be possible to bring outdoor boxing back to Great Falls? We started the first outdoor boxing 3 years ago here at the Great Falls, and it was a phenomenal event. And it was the first boxing event in post-COVID. The backdrop was so lovely. I want to know if it's possible for us to do that in the upcoming year.
Yes, and I envision it happening at Vista Park, so everybody gets not only a beautiful view of the city, but a beautiful view of you and me in the ring for pay-per-view. All proceeds go to the Paterson General Operating Budget or your project at the library in the north side. What do you think there, Akbar?
That'd be nice, but I wouldn't want to flatten you in public.
Whoa, look at this guy. All right, I thought we were going to end on a high note, but he wants to knock me out. I think half of Paterson agrees with you right there. They step forward. Get me off this mic. Hey, turn those cameras off. Delete that if we were on Facebook Live. But I also want to thank our director, Dassel Tilos. Give her a round of applause. Of course, DPW, the Department of Public Works, and Joyce Corbo, right? The Commissioner, Historic Preservation Commission. Thanks to the Chairwoman. Thank you. Please, you were about to extend an invitation. No, you can extend it.
So, if you want, if you're up to it, we can just go on a nice little casual walk. It's a still day, so I think it's even safer for us to kind of be in this space for just a little bit longer. So that concludes the event. We'll be here for a while to answer any questions about the project, about the resources that are here. John Franco, if you want a really deep history lesson, we'll be here for you. But thank you so much for coming.